You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Glee After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Glee After Show.
Woo! Woo!
I'm so excited.
Party. Finale party right here. I mean,
I got this feeling on a summer day when you were gone. I crashed my
I
car
feel like
into
this
the
is like the songs that I hear on Kiss FM constantly.
Oh, yeah,
So,
definitely.
really,
It's also the opening to Snooki and JWoww,
Yes, it is.
as well as in Girls.
wow. Well, we know who
Yeah.
to go check out all of our song trivia with. But Bing,
I got you.
Bing
I'm not
is
tired of
for
it, though,
doing, and we're here doing another Glee after show for you. In fact, the season finale of Glee. Super
Coulda fooled me.
exciting. Oh, Roxy.
All right, and so it begins.
I feel like this is the episode we've all been waiting for. Of course, it's called All or Nothing. It's season 4, episode 22. I'm Stephanie Wenger.
Hi, everyone. I'm Marisa Serafini.
I'm Roxy Striary.
she's back, and I'm back. I'm Sarah Mendoza.
We are so happy to have our full panel as promised.
Team!
We're here.
I love it.
Love this. Gleek. So, all you Gleeks out there, this was a big episode. I feel like we got some answers. There's still some questions that I have. I know that. But we kind of got a taste of Rachel. It wasn't a lot about the old Glee Club, as we, I guess, could call it. But
The real Glee Club.
the real Glee Club.
The
The Glee
original.
Club we miss. We had Corey Monteith, of course, missing, which we've talked about in the past weeks. He was in rehab at the time this was filmed.
Was Puck there with him? How about Quinn? Was she there too?
I know, exactly.
Just curious.
So
They're
many
all
people missing.
preoccupied, I guess.
But I know we have some mixed feelings on the panel tonight. But how did we feel about Rachel's audition? We don't find out whether she got the part or not, but we see her audition for Broadway.
Funny girl.
Funny girl.
I just think at somebody's last callback, you're not singing songs from a different show still. Don't you think? Don't you think that's kind of weird? That we've yet to see her sing a Fanny Brice song, but she's in the very last stage of the callbacks? I mean, I think granted, we'll talk about the songs later. She did an amazing job. So that like saved the day for me, that she was so passionate and amazing. But really? Like, just come on. I'm smarter than that.
That was
But
one of,
I like the fact that she didn't sing Fanny Brice, because if she does get the part, we'll see her singing those songs in the future.
I agree. I wanted her to sing a Fanny Brice song, but it was one of those moments where it felt like the old Rachel. It felt like one of those show-stopping numbers, and that's what I was missing. We'll talk about the numbers in a little bit, but later on at regionals, I wanted one of those showstoppers, and I didn't feel like we necessarily had the Rachel Berry moment that we typically do at regionals.
I kind of agree with Roxy, though. I thought it was a good performance, but it seemed really unconventional, I guess you could say, for a on-Broadway audition.
Well, we've talked.
At least something that's in the same genre or has the same feel as
Or Barbara.
the funny girl show. But it was a contemporary song.
The most believable part about that scene for me was the reaction of the panel.
Agreed.
And, you know, when they're sitting there and the thank you, Rachel, will let you know, it's like you can't read these people for your life, you know? Like, if
So
your
true.
life depended on it. And I've been to auditions like that, and I've been to auditions where I've actually gotten the part. And I walk out of there and I'm like, I think I might have blown it, because Not a single like, I don't know what the hell. Maybe one person cracked a little smile in there, but I just don't know.
Yeah,
They're
the
tough.
worst is like the stone face.
Yeah.
You can't tell one way or the other, and she was definitely getting that. It was a moment where, yes, it could have been a different song, but it did feel real to that audition experience, to me at least.
Yeah, and speaking to emotion, I thought that Rachel's performance, the emotion wasn't fully there in the beginning for me, but it did continue to build. And then when she was hitting those last notes of the song, I think not only did she nail it with her voice, but just her energy and just how invested she was with her emotions in that part of the song, it really got to me. But it was only until the end that it brought me there.
No, I agree, because her performance, it was filled with passion and emotion, and it showcased her talent. And I think that's what they're looking for when they're casting.
I want to jump a little bit to predictions and ask, do you guys think that she's going to get the part? I know we've talked about it all season long. Do you think this is something we're going to see the beginning of next season, or is it going to take the whole storyline of next season?
I mean, I think if you've watched a single episode of Glee, you have to know that she's getting the part. I mean, I don't see anything else happening. Does anybody disagree? And feel free to, please.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. I was like, because it is Glee, and because we know Rachel gets all these big roles, I think it's fitting that she would get this role as well.
If she wasn't going to get the role, we would have found out tonight.
Mm-hmm.
The only other possibility that I can think of is something in the vein of what the Smash show is doing, is where there's an understudy. So she gets it, sort of, but she still has to sort of fight for a spot. Maybe something's going to happen to the lead later, and then she's going to sneak in. That could cause some
I
drama.
could see something like that.
My concern, I think, is that if you get to that point where she has the part, what else do? You have 2 more seasons of Glee. So if they give her the part in the first few episodes next season, where is it going to go after that? Like, how do you rise above a Broadway role, especially like her dream, Barbra Streisand, all of that? Where does this character go beyond that? And so that's my concern for Glee, I guess.
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of, let's say she does get the part, though, there will be a lot of drama through that process of having to adjust on being an actual Broadway cast now. There's going to be a lot of egos, divas, people who have been through it like way longer than she has, that she's going to have to learn to deal with.
I mean, maybe she doesn't get her dream role, Fanny. Maybe she gets another role in the show, or maybe she is the understudy, or maybe she gets the role and then maybe there's talk about her getting fired. There's obviously going to be complications at some point, but I do think something positive is going to come out of this, and somehow she's going to end up on Broadway.
Yeah, I hope so. I want her to see her succeed. I think as a Glee fan through the entire time, that's like something at least I want. Fine, Roxy.
I'm just a bitter person. No, I agree.
I do want to see her succeed. I wonder if her relationships with Finn and other people will also get in the way. Like, we're talking about the Broadway, the Smash type problems, but will her relationships also?
I think it would be rewarding, because we know all these seasons that Roxy, sorry, I was looking at you, that Rachel,
Yes, Marisa.
Rachel has strived to be on Broadway, and then now she's finally at the point where she can be there. I think it's something that we as the audience would love to see. So I think she will get it.
It would be a good twist for, maybe not twist, but a good like plot line for next year. I feel like, to have her on Broadway, to really kind of see successful New York and then kids still struggling to figure out who they are at McKinley. Like that, those would make 2 directly different worlds.
It is true, some people just get lucky. We all have those people who got out of high school, and now all of a sudden it's like one way or another they made it to the top, and you're like, holy crap, how did you get there so fast, and how am I so far from there? I mean, not that it happened for Rachel overnight, but it happens at different speeds for different people.
Exactly. Well, that's all for next season. But in the meantime, if you're watching our show and have been checking us out all season, please go on iTunes, rate, comment. We love hearing your comments.
Oh,
The
yeah.
good, the bad, we read them all, and we definitely take them into account. So let us know. Definitely.
Yeah, and we want to know what you guys want to talk about, because we've got all our opinions, and as you can hear, we've got very different opinions, but we want to know what you want to hear and talk about as well.
And we can go on and on about Glee. Like, before we even get in the room tonight, we are always trying to hold ourselves back to give all these opinions on the air, but we want to know if you want to hear more about certain characters or anything like that. So let us know. And keep the conversation going as well. It's the season finale, crazy enough. I know
that. We need people to be talking to us, otherwise I'm gonna cry.
I know.
We need your predictions.
Hoping for an
We do not want
amazing
Roxy to
next
cry.
season. Next season's got to kick some butt.
I completely
Hoping for
agree.
it.
But one person I don't think we're going to be seeing so much next season, or at least the beginning of next season, is Brittany, who has this kind of out of left field storyline tonight with her, of course, starts with her sitting down with some MIT officials and them telling her that she failed a math test, but that the numbers, they wanted to make, I think they called it the Brittany code, because she had all these numbers on the back of her exam that show that she's essentially a genius.
It's the most important scientific breakthrough of the 21st century. She's the next Albert Einstein, and she's an absolute genius.
She had
was
avocados
weird.
constant, planes constant.
Us Gleeks from season 1, surprising. That's a surprising move.
Well,
I loved how she did it all in crayon.
I know.
So
Yeah.
Brittany.
I mean, have you tried to take a Scantron test with crayon? It's probably an epic fail. I wouldn't know, but I'm thinking it's an epic fail.
well, she got a 0, so it was an epic fail.
I
in
love
that
her
respect.
0.2 grade point average.
That takes effort. I mean,
Like-
that's like a different kind of effort.
You have to try to have it 2.0.
That's F for effort
Yeah.
right there. Seriously.
But guys, she had that genius number sequence on the back of her paper. Let's give her some credit.
I know.
It's so random.
It's such a random storyline. I kind of wanted I wanted some real reason for her to leave, not just that she was like early accepted to MIT. Felt a little shortchanged by that.
But if you think about it, though, there really wasn't enough time to develop like a full story arc for her leaving, because by the time she got pregnant, there's only so many episodes left. She did score high on that one on the MIT test as a fluke, so maybe it's the only thing they could think of with the episodes they had left.
Here's what I'll say. I didn't even think about the storyline, and it didn't bother me because I think that Heather's performance was so amazing that I could not, and I think it was because she knew that this was the last episode. Those tears in the end, those were not fake tears.
Oh no,
Yeah.
That was her saying goodbye and everybody crying back. She's very loved. I've heard a lot of people who have met her, interviewed her. I've actually one time seen her personally, but never had an in-depth conversation. But she seems so awesome and welcoming and caring. And I know she's had like a very tough upbringing and just struggled and just is an awesome person. And everybody loves working with her. So you can tell that this is a big moment for the entire cast.
Right.
And I think from the top of the episode, even when she's sitting there, just her arc and her acting ability, like, man, she's got chops.
I was about to say that also it was so nice to have her have a real storyline.
Yeah.
It's been a minute, and I completely agree. There was no better actor on that show tonight.
She blew me away.
Right?
Yeah.
She stole this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just really appreciated that, yes, they included her in an actual storyline, because if we didn't get Brittany tonight and then we were never going to see her again because she is going to go off and, have her baby and, be dealing with her family, then I think all of the Gleeks around the world would have been deprived and whining and upset about that. So it's
Also,
good they gave it to her.
Can we talk about that moment with Santana? No words, but I feel like it was just like made me smile. Like as a Gleek, I was so happy.
It's so true because the relationship is so strong over all these years. You don't need words.
I was wondering how they were going to handle the juxtaposition of Sam and Santana, like how she was going to say goodbye to both of them and have it both be so moving. But she took care of it so individually, each goodbye was very based on the person that you're saying goodbye to, and I thought that they did a killer job with that. I just think she really crushed it, and I feel bad for her, that you can't have it both ways. And weren't you guys singing when she was dancing? I'm like, is that okay?
Yeah.
Is that okay for the little baby inside? Like,
Yeah,
I was nervous.
I know in the first couple months you can actually still exercise and do light jogging. So I thought about that too, though. I was like,
Yeah.
how far along is she? Because
I know, because
should we be worried?
Heather Morris has talked about in the past that, family is number one to her. And so, I mean, I'm sure she's thrilled to be having this baby, but I think it is tough she rose to fame on the show. And it's definitely, I think, a tough situation, I would imagine.
Yeah, but I do love that scene where she's saying all these things to her friends. And because it was still true to character, she was still, getting people's names mixed up and had her one-liners to all of them. So it was still Brittany, but it was also Heather leaving.
Yeah, it was a great parallel when she was doing that circle scene with them.
I have a question for you guys, and I guess maybe I just had never thought of it like this, but maybe that is what's going on. She phrased a bunch of different people in different ways, and I thought they were all very funny, and Brittany, like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing she said about Sam was the cute boy from the wrong side of the tracks.
I wrote that down as well.
Who does impressions and who I fake marry. That part I totally get, but the cute boy from the wrong side of the tracks. Is that what she thinks about? And is that what you guys think about him? Is he from the... I know that he's had issues monetarily, but I just never think of him that way.
I didn't think of him as from the wrong side of the tracks. That felt like a stretch to me, but definitely sometimes the outsider in that group. Like, he definitely kept all these secrets about his financial struggles, and so maybe that's what she means by it.
Yeah.
That like he lived in the motel when all of them had homes and things like that.
Just
so
every other one struck. I was like, yep, calling unique Mercedes, yep, like all of these things, totally got it right there with you. And then when she said that, I thought to myself, I never thought of it that way.
I think they definitely maybe picked the wrong title or verbiage for him.
Yeah.
Because when you think wrong side of the tracks, you think Puckermans.
well, I think bad boy when I think wrong
Yeah,
side of the
same.
tracks.
So I would have been fine with just the cute boy with great impressions who I fake married.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why they tried to throw that in there, so maybe foreshadowing as to what Sam's about to do next. No,
I don't know. I mean, could this, Brittany exiting make him
be edgy. He's going to
Edgy.
go Quinn.
Ooh.
Dye his hair on us and sit underneath the bleachers.
Love it. I
That'd be
mean, wouldn't that be just one of the craziest twists that Glee could throw at you?
And he doesn't graduate either because something. Oh, well, I guess we still have him because he's not early accepted anywhere.
No.
I keep forgetting that this ends and it's the mid of the school year.
I know. I can't.
weird.
I keep thinking we're at May, which we're in real life, but not on Glee. So we're still at regionals, and so we have nationals to go, which of course will be in Los Angeles, and we'll talk about regionals in a bit here. But we also wanted to talk about, there's so many relationship changes in this episode. I felt like kind of things that had been foreshadowed a little bit throughout the season, but we kind of got answers or maybe more questions in the case of Blaine and Kurt, who of course, we saw that Blaine last week was considering asking Kurt to marry him, even though they're not fully back in a relationship. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're kind of...
I mean, when the elderly women ask them,
Yeah.
he says, oh, we're not together.
Kurt.
Yeah. So Kurt doesn't feel like they are, but Blaine clearly wants to be. And they find, when he goes and looks at engagement rings, he finds a woman who... I guess, found her wife in the same town and kind of wants to give them advice to the next generation. I thought that was... What did you guys think of that, actually, before
I thought it was sweet because we haven't had any older generations homosexual relationships to look forward to and to, reflect people's the current relationships and whatnot. So I think it was nice to have the older perspective, and it is possible to get married and just have the more wiser people to give that advice to. So I thought that was sweet and endearing, and their message was true. They gave a good message about, don't give up.
Yeah, I mean, I like what they represent in the whole marriage equality aspect. They're definitely taking a stand. Glee has always took a stand for marriage equality. But that aside, there are two one high schooler, one college student who aren't even together, on and off. They don't agree on their status right now, and one of them is going to propose to the other. If this were, gay or not, if it was homosexual relationship or not, to me that's just such a shaky foundation. These guys should not be talking about marriage if they're not on the same page.
My principle is even more basic than anything you guys said. I don't disagree with either of you, but introducing new characters in finales, I'm just against, in general. Finales are for wrapping things up and for putting a nice bow on things or leaving you the cliffhanger. I don't care. I don't care about these women. I understood what they represented here, and yes, would it be nice if we had homosexual leaders to look up to on the show? Yes, but you know what, Glee? You didn't think of that. You didn't think of it before. So you just tried to throw in these two women at the finale. It just seemed weird to me, and I want to focus on, I would have loved for those extra minutes to be with just Kurt and Blaine or whatever. I just didn't need to see a different couple. That was part of it. And the other thing I have to say about it is, I've just always been somebody, if you are 100% in love and you know you're in love and you know you want to marry somebody and you're that young, then what's the rush? Yeah. Why are you rushing? Well, who do you have something to prove something to, you know? You're like so in love that you have to get married? That seems contradictory. You know, if you're so in love, you might as well wait. They're not going anywhere.
I couldn't agree more with you on that. Like, they're not going anywhere. Why not, wait till you're a little older to get married? But I have to say that I thought they were a sweet couple, and I agree with you. I understand what Ryan Murphy was doing by putting them there, and there was a sweet moment with them, like, asking the proposal, and all of that was very sweet. But I just wanted it to either be with Blaine's parents, who I don't think we've ever met. I would have been okay with them being introduced as new characters, like giving advice to their son. That would have been an interesting place. Or getting more, when I said it last week, I feel like we kind of get a taste of Kurt's dad and then he's gone again.
Yeah.
So maybe a conversation.
Bye, Bert.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe a little more with the parents. I feel like that 2 or 3 minutes, whatever that was, could have been spent just in a little bit of a different way, maybe.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I want more time with Kurt and his opinions on the relationship, because you always see Blaine with his friends, with even Kurt's father, Bert. You always hear Blaine's opinion, like, I love him, he's my soulmate, we want to get married. But we don't hear Kurt and his opinions on their relationship. We know that he thinks that they're just friends, but does he think they're more than that?
I mean, obviously he has feelings for him somewhere, but I agree with you because his person is Rachel, and Rachel's not there right now, so we're not getting his side of the story.
I agree with you.
I'd like to see that.
Like a split screen phone call would have been enough.
Or keep Bert in this episode.
Yeah. And on a side note, who else still feels bad for Tina? I know I did tonight.
I wrote that down too.
I was just like, oh, you're looking for engagement rings, and she so loves Blaine, and it's just never going to happen for her. And I feel bad for her.
I feel bad for Tina because she's a senior too. This is her last hurrah. And Brittany, yes, Heather Morris got a bigger story tonight, but Tina still got the shaft in this episode.
Tina always gets a shaft, and there's always going to be
She
that
didn't even
person.
sing at regionals either. She didn't have a solo.
I think she will at regionals.
Nationals.
Not nationals, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, and nationals will be in Los Angeles.
Question.
Yeah.
So,
thank you, Roxy, for raising your hand.
It's mind-boggling to me. I'm absolutely baffled that they would spend the time all season splitting time between Ohio and New York, and nationals has always been in New York, and now instead of making it easy on themselves so that they're all in New York, they're going to LA? What are you thinking? I mean, who's in LA? Mercedes, yeah, selling her album, kind of. Puck was there, now he's back for community college, and Mercedes back at church, selling her CDs. Literally, why would you do that to yourselves? Why wouldn't you just go to New York and everybody could be in the same city for once?
I'm not.
Tell us how you really feel, Roxy.
Like, WTF.
I'm not quite as upset about it as you are. I agree, but I have to say that all I could think about was that they had regionals at McKinley, which is not typically the case. And I was just like, are you saving your budget so that, like, I mean, obviously Glee films here in LA. It's not difficult for them to use the LA background. But I was just like, it just felt like some move where I was just like, I don't understand why we're not getting a bigger stage for regionals. Like, we're still at McKinley. It felt very small. Like, there were things in this episode that felt small.
This is the finale, and it was like,
yeah.
And you know what? I didn't hate tonight's episode. I think they did a good job. It was adequate. It just there were so many small things that could have brought it up to the next level that I was like, why? I know you guys must have thought about this because I've only been sitting here watching for 45 minutes, and I thought about it, and you guys eat, sleep, and breathe this, so you must have thought about this.
I have to agree, though. I thought that this episode was bar none one of the best we've had this season. They really did do a great job of tying in these storylines and making everything fit together.
Not everything, though, but a lot of
things.
Can you guys get over the New York thing? I just can't get over it.
No, but I agree. It is weird. Why would you go to a whole nother new location? But maybe they want to explore options in Los Angeles. These graduates, maybe they have this one track mind of everything's in New York. All
suppose
opportunities are there. Maybe if they go to Los Angeles, they'll find other venues to travel on.
Here's the problem with that. We know we are signed on for 2 more seasons. In 2 seasons, the current sophomores right now will be seniors. So we know part of us is in Ohio. We know part of us will be in New York at NIADA. And then are we also going to be in LA when they explore those options? Are we going to be Tri-City? Because I can't deal.
No, I think that would make the show so divided. I mean, I'm sure they have a master plan. They don't do these things on a whim.
That's true.
That being said, we did get two major relationship developments tonight. We finally found out who the catfish was.
Fish.
Fish, as I'm barely talking. Catfish.
Close enough,
I
baby.
feel
Close
it.
enough. I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Well, at first, what's her name?
Marley.
Marley takes the rap for somebody else.
But the thing is, when Marley said it was her, they immediately cut to Unique's expression and his reaction to it. So I immediately thought it was Unique.
Didn't you think it was interesting, though, that Jake immediately stood up for Marley? And I obviously, from the beginning, we all were like, it's obviously not Marley. But Jake stands up for Marley. And then later on, when we see that Unique had told Marley, Jake wasn't there. So I figured that it would have been a conversation between the three of them, and that's why Jake stood up for Marley. But Jake wasn't part of the conversation, so did Marley just tell him separately, or what am I missing?
That's what I think. I think that Marley told her boyfriend separately after the fact. So he was in on it, and he knew that Marley was going to stick up for
And I think he was just being that good boyfriend because he knows that his girlfriend's going to get attacked in front of everyone, so he just stood up for her.
But wouldn't you think in that moment he didn't know? I mean, I would have liked to have seen that then, because at that time I was like, even if she's lying, how would he know that? And wouldn't he be kind of pissed? And there's a little drama there, and that could have created some sort of spark or something new in the episode.
I agree. What did you think of Unique being the catfish?
I think we all kind of had a feeling.
Yeah, I think we did.
We all had predicted that. We all, maybe not on the air, I can't recall, but we definitely had talked about it as we were screening the episodes, that this was a possibility.
She said multiple things about how her looks, like it was hinted at multiple times.
Exactly, and I think it's actually believable because we know that Unique has all these self-conscious issues and whatnot, and she always wants a friend, and like she has just all these insecurities, and to be the person to have someone else confide in that helps her. So I kind of believe it was her.
If you remember that scene too, when he's in that library and he's typing to Katie, to the catfish, they cut to Unique for a second, right, at his computer. So from that moment, I was like, wait. So maybe it could be Unique, and that's when it put the little seed in my brain.
I also have to applaud Blake Jenner, though. He did a great job he's such a nice guy, and he played that so well.
Yeah, I wrote down, what was the song a couple episodes where I was like, the emotion is not there. But I knew he has the emotion in him because we saw the scene when he blew up Marley in front of the locker. This was one of those scenes again.
Yeah.
Where you see that this actor, he's got it.
Mm-hmm.
He's got it in him. I just think that sometimes he doesn't know how to bring it out through song. And that's going to be an issue on the show. But when it's performance-based acting, this guy's got it.
I mean, was so on it tonight. And that was actually what made me so thrilled about this episode, was that I felt like the actors who needed to bring it brought it tonight. And sometimes in this season, we haven't always seen that.
And that just reminded me an episode he was on Glee Project. That's obviously why he's on Glee. There was a challenge that he had to be this angry guy. He had to yell to his best friend about like stealing his girlfriend and whatnot. But that he showed his performance that he can act. That's why he's on Glee. That's why he won Glee Project. So his acting really just astounds me. So I'm not surprised that he can't act.
It's acting, he's amazing at. Singing, he's incredible at. It's bringing the acting into the song that I'm not so sure if he can do yet. And I think that is just because we're comparing him to people who've been doing this for years. And they've all grown.
And also, could it be, though, the song choices that they give him, maybe it just doesn't translate with emotion as well as maybe another song would have?
No, because it was Everybody Hurts. That's what it was. It was an REM song. And that could have been his breakout song. That is so much. He could have done so much with that. And I just didn't feel like he did. My question to you guys is, do you feel like you blame Unique?
No, I don't think so. I understand what she was trying to accomplish with it. I just think that she didn't think it through. Like maybe telling someone, I don't know, I think there are better ways to handle it, but I understand why she felt like she needed to. I guess that makes
Needed to.
needed to share what she was feeling inside. Like I think in high school you have all these intense emotions, and she was just looking for an outlet. That's the way I viewed it. And like maybe in the end she ended up hurting Ryder, but she truly just needed someone to talk to, and I can respect that.
Well, I mean, but you can do that in so many other ways. You know, like you can reach out to a friend. You could have reached out to Ryder as a friend and, you know, tried to get to know him, be close to him, and let out your emotions and hope that that exchange would be mutual. To deceive someone like that, I don't know if you guys have watched Catfish, but like time and time again, these people's hearts are broken because they fall in love with someone who they think is the person that they're in love with, but it's actually someone else. And that deception can really F with you.
No,
as it did Ryder.
I completely understand that, and I can't even imagine going through that in real life, but we should move on to Emma and Will, who, of course, finally get married tonight.
Without either of their family there.
In the choir room.
So realistic. The perfectionist Emma has the least perfect wedding ever. Okay.
The fact that this is just my personal pet peeve, the fact that I believe that one of the girls was tearing off rose petals as she was walking down the aisle, and I was just like, can we at least get the rose petals off before we walk into the ceremony at all? No?
I didn't like it in the choir room. They should have just kept it on the stage, man. With all the lights and stuff, they could have dressed it up just a little bit.
The only thing, it was the least rad wedding of all time. That was all I wrote down. Like, not rad. And that, rad's not even a word that you hear me use all the time. I just was kept thinking, like, this.
No.
Come on, really?
And I agree, because even their engagement was at the pool. It was this huge number and dancing and whatnot, and their wedding was just the simple black.
Well, it was
kind
the
of
complete opposite of
reception.
what they did the first time around. She was a control freak, and it messed her up and made her so anxious that she left the wedding. So it's the complete opposite now. But I do agree. It actually capped off the episode for me on a note. Like, I didn't really care so much about it.
Well,
The priest.
you
Gotta talk about the priest.
Oh.
Wait, his two amazing quotes. Works for me. I have reservations at Breadsticks too. And Will, Emma.
Yeah,
who let the priest improv during this episode? Please tell me that's what it was. I couldn't get over that.
I mean, that was some tough lines, admittedly.
way to dumb down the wedding.
Yeah,
right?
it killed the mood too. So.
It was real. Yeah, that was hard. But what did we think of the musical numbers tonight? There were a few of them. We started off with Rachel, "To Love You More," which is a Celine Dion song.
Amazing.
Yeah, she was incredible.
It was
amazing.
Hats off.
Rachel of old, so good. I mean, we know Leah Michelle can do no wrong. I say it all the time on the show. So good.
I
It was
wrote
effortless.
emotional. Get it, girl.
Yeah, get it, totally.
I think my only nitpick was that there was credits during this whole number, which was totally distracting.
Oh, I needed that
I wanted to
because-
just like look at her, embrace the full performance, but I was just seeing these names keep popping up on the screen.
No, I thought it was good. I thought it was good placement because we only have her, and it's just like so much pressure on her. I didn't mind that.
And then we had Rainbow Connection, which was won by the first team to perform the Waffle Toots. I can't read my own handwriting,
Who comes
admittedly.
up with these names?
I mean, every year I feel like it's like the Glee's writers, like, yes, season finale, let's do something really random.
Glee couldn't even let us get through that whole song. It was so.
Yeah.
They even cut
They
away
cut
from
away.
the
Yeah,
rest.
they couldn't deal.
It's not for regionals. It's a good song, but it's not for regionals.
So forgettable. And then the Hoosierdaddies.
They were amazing.
Jessica Sanchez blew it out of the water.
Except for the fact that she cannot lip sync, and it was very distracting.
That's true, but I love her voice.
Yeah.
Still from American Idol, as talented as I remembered her, so good.
When you
She
close
still
your
brought
eyes.
It's
Yeah, she
crazy
still
because
brought it.
her voice is so powerful, but when you look at her, she's this tiny little thing on stage. She kind of just like fades into the people. Like, she's not a big person at all, but her voice really makes up for that, I feel.
I felt-
Filipinos represent.
I know, and we got such a
Get it,
little
girl.
tease of her the other day that, or like a few weeks ago, I guess it was, and to finally have her perform, it felt like much needed in the finale, and she sang Clarity and Wings by Little Mix.
And that
I
was
liked
also
it.
amazing. Yeah, I thought that their performance was great. I always I never understand why New Directions gets more songs than every other group.
Yeah, it's a little upsetting.
Not
but I
fair.
guess-
The competition rules suck. No, and whatever.
And they
They're
always
both
win.
great.
No,
Yeah.
I mean 90%.
But the Warblers got a lot of songs too when we saw them perform.
But that's because we had like the storyline of Chris and Darren.
But New Directions always had like one more.
yeah, and Roxy's
goes
upset
longer.
by
And
it.
I noticed.
So maybe we should jump into those. Hall of Fame. It started with obviously a script song and the script, and
Will I Am, I think, too.
Yeah.
Will I Am. Yeah.
I really enjoyed the song. I think the guys sounded great. And I think that they should have maybe ended with this because, well, actually, All or Nothing was great, but the in between.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm exactly with
Guys,
you.
I love the song. I love it. We started tonight with it. It's so up. It's so good. This song would be amazing as one of their random throw at the end of an episode just because we want to hear the song. To sing this song for regionals, it sounded like they were whining. There was no, their vocals are like none.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was just a fun song.
It's a fun song. The original's really, really fun. For some reason, the way that and I normally love their renditions of songs,
Right.
but for some reason, this one just felt a little underwhelming, and that's a strange feeling for that song because that song should never be underwhelming. Like, that's a strange description for me.
I think it could have been the choreography didn't really match the energy of the vocals of that song because
Yeah.
when I hear that song, like I want to get up and like start jumping.
I know,
and
we were,
that's
like, having
the
a
kind
dance
of energy
party.
I feel, but
Yeah.
with them they were kind of just like doing this while they were singing the song.
Dude, I almost wanted to see them just jump dance, like confetti and jump dance, you know? Just like up and down, like, oh. If you're going to pick a song that your vocals don't need to be so strong for, you better do something so much fun and killer.
Right.
This wasn't that.
Performance.
And then we finished off with All or Nothing, which is an original song from New Directions.
I gave it a B+.
I
I
was
actually wrote that down.
I gave it a B+.
I was still upset that Tina did not get a solo. It was Marley. It's her senior year. How come she's not singing?
I wrote that it was really sweet. I thought it was a sweet song. I still kind of wanted that big moment, and Marley didn't like, she did a great job with it, but it wasn't a big moment for me, and that was what lacked, I felt like, for that one. But I give it 4 out of 5.
And also, I thought it was so weird that they made such a big deal last week about how Jake's dance moves were going to be the secret weapon, and then he didn't even.
We hardly saw
Right.
that.
There was none.
I thought that was so strange.
That's very upsetting, you're
Right?
Yeah.
Another thing is I hate to compare because they're such different artists, but like the power that we feel from Rachel Berry
I
during
know.
regionals,
That's all I kept thinking.
and then Marley at regionals. This isn't against
No.
Benoit at all, but like there's just such a big difference.
It's just they're such different artists, and I think
Yeah.
if you've had 3 seasons of Rachel Berry, that's what you come to expect. And it's not that anyone's bad; it's just a different thing.
They have to stop trying to make Marley Rachel.
Yes.
We're fine with
Yes.
Marley who Marley is. Just stop trying to make her Rachel.
Because when you do that, you start comparing.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, we always say at regionals and at nationals that all the big songs that they sing, they're all emotionally driven. And tonight, these songs just felt like they're fun ones. They sound great, but they're not at the emotional level that Kurt, Finn, and Rachel always brought to the
Right.
stage every single time.
The only one I will say that had some emotional component was All or Nothing. But up until that point, it was like the hip songs that had been on the radio for the past few months
Right.
that they covered.
Do you want to do a lightning round of news and gossip?
Give it to me, baby.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So we didn't get to see very much of Leah Michelle or Corey Monteith in this episode. We had one song from Leah, but they are he's now out of rehab, and they were spotted on the beach in Mexico together. So
Good
yay,
for them.
Finchel
Yay.
fans! Moncho. Then we also have Leah Michelle made another Hot 100 list. She is number 76 on 100 Sexiest Women in the World. It's an FHM list. So she's been doing well. This is, I think, the 3rd list she's made this year. She was also on a UK Glamour list for 50 Best Dressed. So yeah, she rocks the red carpet. I mean, that's...
Yeah, she does. She's very unconventionally pretty. So I don't know. I love that you don't have to have perfect features to be on these
She's got a great
Right.
body too.
But speaking of hot, how could you not look at Santana tonight? Like her
Oh my
damn,
god.
like
Yeah.
that. Oh,
Yeah.
No, she's
talk about being able
gorgeous.
to, like, who could turn me gay? She could. Heartbeat. Oh, wow.
And then we
She's gay already.
Yeah. And then we
Roxy's
finally have Jane Lynch. We mentioned it before. She's going to be performing in Annie this summer. And she's going to start actually a day early. So she's beginning May 16th May 15th rather than May 16th. So a little early, so you can go check her out. If you're missing Glee, go check out Jane and Annie.
What do you mean she's starting early?
She's starting, it was supposed to be on May 16th.
Oh.
And she's starting on May 15th. So it's a day early. And this made big news this week, so definitely that.
Little girl.
All right, do you have any more?
I know. Do you have one more?
So I don't know if you guys noticed that they did incorporate the character Sugar.
Yeah, Sugar and Joe,
tonight.
they were back.
Yeah. So apparently Sugar may not be coming back. So this could also be her final episode, along with maybe Brittany. She's been booked on a new ABC comedy pilot. So if that gets picked up, there's no way she's gonna have time.
Do you know
for
which
both.
pilot or?
It didn't say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to watch for her then, definitely. And want to do quickly predictions?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
Well, we leave with Blaine holding the ring behind his back, so, team,
I predict that Kurt says no.
you think he's going to propose?
I do.
And Kurt says no.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, I agree. I think Blaine's gonna propose and Kurt's gonna turn him down.
I think he's gonna realize it's a mistake and not propose.
I'm with that. So 2 and 2. It's on.
This isn't
We'll see.
really a prediction, but I need closure on Brody because he fell off the face of the earth after the Gigolo
I'm
storyline.
so over it.
I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm
over it
over
though.
it.
I just want to see them have a conversation where they're not heated and wrap that up.
So that's your wish for next season, Roxy. Wish for next season,
More SJP.
and
I agree. Gosh, I can't even say it.
AfterBuzz wish list.
yeah, I was like,
There's
let's.
so many.
We've done so many predictions. I thought, why not end with a wish? I think mine is for more Finchel. I'll go with what I've said all
Obviously.
season.
I want
But-
more Quinn.
Okay, more Quinn. There we
Quinn.
go. We now all have our wishes out there, Glee writers. Listen up. And thank you so much for watching all season long. It's been so much fun to talk about Glee. As you can tell, we're huge Glee fans. So it's been a blast. Thanks again for tuning in.
Catch
and
us
you-
on season 5 when
See-
it comes back.
I know, in September. Can't believe we have to wait all summer, but remember to tweet at us. You can tweet AfterBuzz at AfterBuzz TV, and you can tweet me at Stephanie Wenger.
I'm on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV.
At Roxy Striar.
At Sarah with an H Mendoza.
See you soon.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of